Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Is my voice okay? Okay, alhamdulillah. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما اللهم بارك لنا في أوقاتنا آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. My presentation is on Halloween. My name is Rayan Rafiq and my ID is LQKS001 Rayan. Okay, Halloween. Halloween is a holiday that is celebrated on the October 31st, the night of October 31st. On this night, people dress up in costumes and go to door asking for candies, also known as trick-or-treating. Also, people like taking part in doing stuff like going to costume parties, bonfires, pulling pranks on one another, or watching horror films. All this can be taking part in the celebration of Halloween. Even accepting candies from your school can be a part of celebrating Halloween. The history of Halloween. Halloween was actually created from an old tribe. They were called the Celtics. The Celtics had many gods and one of them was Samhain. They believed that he was the god of the dead. They decided to make him meals to make him happy. They also dressed up. They said that they were dressed up in scary costumes to scare away the bad spirits. They did this so they could meet their dead. Islamic perspective of Halloween. Why would we want to join in this celebration when we know the history? Why would we want to follow Shaitan and his followers? Allah sent us to the earth to obey him and follow his commands, not to follow Shaitan and his followers. Islamic perspective of Halloween continues. Allah says in the Quran, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, يا أيها الناس كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين صدق الله العظيم. O mankind, eat of that which is lawful and wholesome in the earth, and follow not the footsteps of the devil. Lo, he is an open enemy for you. Surah Baqarah, ayah number 168. Do Muslims today celebrate Halloween? Muslims today are unfortunately celebrating this event without knowing. They are influencing other Muslims to join them too in their partying and dressing up. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give them hidayah and have mercy on them and make them follow the right path. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. The end. I hope you like it. Assalamu alaikum. Can everybody hear me? What is Halloween?
Assalamu alaikum. Aisha, I think your voice was very low. So please do either turn up your mic or maybe it's your speakers that are low. But either way, yeah, your voice is a little very low.
Halloween. Halloween in Islam. What is Halloween? Halloween is a celebration that is celebrated on October 31st. In this celebration, children dress up in costumes, wear masks, and go door to door to get candy. This is called trick-or-treating. Other activities are costume parties, visiting haunted house, playing pranks, and much more.
Should Muslims celebrate Halloween? Muslims should not celebrate this day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not planned this day for us. This day is celebrated because the pagans thought this day the Lord of Death takes up the evil creatures, such as witches, ghosts, vampires, and more. Trick-or-treating came out from pagans, knocking door to door for money and food. Jack-o'-lanterns. Did you ever wonder how jack-o'-lanterns came? Well, this is how. There was a man named Jack. After his death, he didn't go to heaven or hell. He had to go around the world with a lantern. He needed light, so he put lights in the lantern. But on the way, he would see evil creatures, so he put faces on the lanterns to scare them away. Important facts. Some children are told by their teachers and friends to celebrate Halloween. You should always listen to your parents because they know what's best for you. In Halloween, more than $2.1 billion are used for costumes, sweets, and parties. It will be better that you will spend this money on charity. Hope you enjoy.
Assalamu alaikum. Can everybody hear me? Okay. My PowerPoint is called Halloween the Truth by LQKS0107 Salman Isa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is Halloween? Halloween may seem like a harmless day for our children to dress up and collect treats, right? Wrong. Let me tell you the real story about Halloween. These next slides will tell you what Halloween really is, the truth about Halloween. Origins of Halloween. Halloween started in the land of the Celtics, also called Celts, in an area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, about 2,000 years ago. Their new year was on November 1st. This day stated that the long, dark winters were approaching. These people associated the darkness with death. On their New Year's Eve, they had a festival for their god of death, Samhain. The celebration, also called Samhain, took place because the Celtics believed that dead roamed the earth and they didn't want to anger them. They also believed their priests could talk to the dead and gain knowledge for the future. Since one of mankind's greatest weaknesses is their obsession for gaining knowledge of their future, they would celebrate as to please the dead so the priests could communicate with them. Traditions of Halloween. The Celtics used to dress up so the dead wouldn't recognize them. That is where we get the tradition for dressing up. The priests used to go door to door asking for certain foods for the spirits, not really, they ate it themselves. It was a superstition that whoever didn't give food would be eternally cursed. That's where we get the trick-or-treat concept. There's a legend that states that there was a man named Jack who used to love to trick the devil. So the legend states that after Jack died, he didn't go to heaven or hell. So he had to haunt, if you will, the earth and carry a lantern with him so he could see. We made jack-o'-lanterns to represent this legend. Current Halloween. Today we spend more than $3 billion on candy and costumes. In America, we are complaining about all the economic crises and all the high prices. Maybe it would help if we didn't waste so much money on Halloween things. More than 800 billion pounds of pumpkins are produced in the U.S. alone. Halloween celebrates all things that are magic and evil. Islam strictly forbids it. Nowadays, those who celebrate Halloween because it's their religion, like Muslims celebrate Eid, call it Devil's Day. Islamic Point of View, the truth. Halloween is shirk. Shirk is the one and only sin that Allah doesn't forgive. Do we want a permanent, unerasable sin on our records? Shirk simply is the association with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Halloween celebrates all things that are magic, evil, and superstitions. Islam strictly forbids it. The Prophet ﷺ said, "He who imitates a nation is of them." Do we really want to be of those people who believe in magic and totally impossible and false things? Do you think we should risk committing shirk just so we can have fun? It's simple. Don't celebrate Halloween. Thank you for watching. Now that you know the truth about Halloween, don't celebrate it. Jazakallah khair for listening. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum. Is my voice okay? Okay, so my presentation is Halloween in Islam by Afghan. Okay, is my voice okay? My presentation is Halloween in Islam by Afghan LQKS003FA. What is Halloween? Every year on October 31st, people across the world dress up in costumes and go to house collecting candy. People often decorate their houses with ghostly figures and carve out jack-o'-lanterns. Unfortunately, some Muslims also celebrate it. Halloween's history. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts who lived in the area that is now Ireland, the UK, and northern France celebrated their new year on November 5th. This day marks the end of summer and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead would come to the earth. Islamic perspective. Muslims should refrain from copying or imitating the kuffar in their celebrations. Islam has strongly forbidden Muslims to follow the religious or social customs of the non-Muslims, and especially of the idol worshippers or those who worship the devil. From an Islamic point of view, Halloween is one of the worst celebrations because of its origins and history. It is haram even if there may be some apparently good or harmless elements in those practices. Some hadiths are, you must keep to my sunnah and the sunnah of the rightly guided sage. Cling to it firmly, beware of the newly invented matter, for every new matter is an innovation, and every innovation is misleading. Bukhari. When the people see a person committing a wrong but do not cease to turn to restrain him from or her from the deed, it is likely that Allah will punish them both, and whoever imitates a nation is one of them. And that's all for listening to my presentation, and Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to be reading a presentation about Halloween. Halloween, what does it mean to us as Muslims? Where does Halloween come from? Origins date back to ancient Celtics, their festival of Samhain, where they praise their sun god and lord of the dead, which is shirk because if we celebrate Halloween, we are worshipping their false gods. They believe that on this day the dead walk the earth wearing realistic-looking masks so the people would think they are normal people. The Celts wore costumes and masks too so that they could trick the dead and disguise themselves. This is where the tradition of wearing costumes like witches, devils, etc. comes from. Some Halloween traditions. Bobbing for apples. The Celts tried to tell each other's fortune and had lots of methods, and this was one of them. Since Halloween traveled from Ireland to America, the ancient Celts were from Ireland, this has become a common children's game. The jack-o'-lantern. The tradition is based on a legend of a man named Jack, who played a trick on the devil. After having died, he was rejected from both heaven and hell, so he walked the earth with a lantern made of lighted coal inside a turnip. Eventually, when this tradition reached America, they found pumpkins which they found to be more effective. Guidance from the Quran. When it is said unto them, come to what Allah has revealed, come to the messenger, they say, enough for us are the ways we found our fathers following. What? Even though their fathers were void of knowledge and guidance? Has not the time arrived for the believers that their hearts in all humility should engage in the remembrance of Allah and of the truth which has been revealed to them? That they should not become like those to whom was given the book aforetime, But long ages passed over them, and their hearts grew hard, for many among them are rebellious transgressors. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, my brothers.
Assalamu alaikum. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So I wrote my presentation on Halloween. This Halloween was originated as Eve of Samhain, which marked the beginning of winter and the first day of New Year among ancient pagans. They believed that supernatural and the human barrier were broken, so the dead can visit the earth at this time. So then they made this festival for the sun god, and they gave the sun god treats so that they wouldn't be killed themselves. Some Halloween customs are like images of bats and black cats, and these animals at that time were believed to communicate with the spirits of the dead. Black cats are also associated with the souls of witches. Trick-or-treating also came from it was widely believed that during the Feast of All Saints, peasants went from house to house asking for money or food for the feast, and then the people dressed in costume to play tricks on their neighbors, and they would blame these people, these actions on spirits and goblins. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me? Yeah. Halloween in Islam. LQKF 0075 Mahid. What is Halloween? Halloween is all about celebrating ghosts and ghouls, witches and devilish characters, magic and mischief, and this is all masked under the guise of fun. What kind of message does that send to the kids? Combined with the lack of moral standards in today's society, it's sending the wrong message and celebrates wrongdoing. This is not what Muslims should be doing or engaging with. Halloween is a pagan festival and has no place in a righteous society. It is actually seen by pagans as a holy day on which they make offerings to their gods. Islam and Halloween. We are Muslims and we distinguish ourselves as being Muslims and following Islam. Allah has prescribed for us the festivities we should follow, and there is no need to add to this by following something else. If celebrating Halloween or any other festival was allowed, it would have been stated in Hadith or the Quran. Whoever seeks a religion that then Islam, it will never be accepted of him, and in the hereafter he will be one of the losers. Al-Imran. The Prophet, blessings and peace of Allah be upon him, said, whoever imitates a people is one of them, Abu Dawud. What should we do? Muslims need to stop engaging in non-Muslim festivities, parties, and the giving of presents, sending cards, giving greetings. This is not Islamic, so don't have one foot in Islam and one foot in something else. Instead, celebrate Islam. You have to eat and can make the most of this. Be devoted and upstanding Muslims that non-Muslims can respect for their Islamic values and morals and beliefs. Muslims need to come to terms with an Islamic identity and the fact that we are ordered by Allah not to imitate the kuffar, the non-Muslims. If anything, the non-Muslims have much to gain by imitating Muslims and learning from Muslims. We should be role models, not the other way around. How will non-Muslims learn the errors of their ways if we imitate them? Also, if you imitate the non-Muslims in the things they do, then where do you draw the line? The fairest and most just way is to not engage in festivities that are not Islamic. Explain to non-Muslims about the Islamic values and how we celebrate on Eid. They are not aliens and will understand. Muslims, you need to act like Muslims and be Muslims, following Islam and showing everyone the beauty of Islam. Thank you for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so Jazakallah khair to the people who presented, and I really liked all of them. MashaAllah, all of them were informative. I didn't actually know so much about it myself, so it was really great to hear how you guys went through every single thing about all the different traditions and all of the actual truth behind it. So Jazakallah khair to all of you guys.